Hi everyone, this is Jay Harris coming to you from Tom's Trading Room with the second of two videos focusing on the percent to double functions in the tools, this time focusing on using the percent to double with Money Calendar. Now, unlike Darknet, Money Calendar does not have in its list of candidates the percent to double calculation on an option choice idea. What it does have though is the capabilities to help you assess a price target on the stock. So let's click on the Money Calendar and we bring up the list for February 28th here. And what I did to get the list to look like this is I clicked on the average profit column heading twice. Whatever it was to begin with, the first time you click it, it will sort it from the lowest average profit to the highest. You click it again and it'll go highest to lowest. And I'm going to focus on a call idea with Intuitive Surgical, ISRG. And you've seen in the past where you can click on that and get the bar graphs of all of its profitability over the past 10 years, as well as click on each individual year and bring up a candlestick chart for the price move of ISRG on each of the 10 years. I'm also going to point out that it does have a positive slope, and the last loser, the last time that this did not go higher in price over this date range, was the 4th year back. So the last loser, is how many years back was the last time it did opposite of what it shows it normally does, and it normally goes higher, hence it's green. It's a bullish candidate, but 4 years ago was the last time that it didn't, and it was the only time because it shows a 90% accuracy, which means 9 out of the last 10 years it moved higher. So I'm going to go to the page for the options analysis, and what you do is you go over to searchers, you go to, well, let's start from the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and go up to the top, highlight searchers, highlight multi-strategies, and then left click on find trades. And I'm going to type in the stock symbol, ISRG, and then click change. If you do not do this, it's only going to bring up the options analysis on the stock that was there to begin with. Even if you type in ISRG and you do not click change, whatever was there before, that's the table of information that will be brought up. So make sure you click on the change button. We're going to leave the defaults as they are here. Bullish and implied volatility outlook low. And we're going to change the options expiration to less than 45 days. And you don't have to really think about that. When it comes to the Money Calendar, we're looking out maximum 30 days. So you can always anticipate just clicking on the less than 45 days. Now, we can go ahead and click on buy call. And you'll see that the selected strategies defaults to the buy call selection you made, and the trading sort method will default to the bullish percent to double. And now you'll just simply click on search. Real quick, folks, what I want you to remember to do though, let's go back to Tom Searchers, let's go back to Money Calendar. And simply, folks, I have the tools up on a few different tabs, and you can be in there. You can be logged in 2 or 3 different times. So you can do Darknet and Money Calendar and multiple other functions. While one search is doing its thing, you can be in another place in the tools. But here's a key point that I want you guys to get in the habit of doing. When you bring up your Money Calendar list, and let's say you go into tomorrow's date, and you do the sort, and you see ISRG, your average profit is $15.50. It's made an average move of $15.50 9 out of the last 10 years. So I would write that down on a separate piece of paper. The ticker symbol, ISRG. The average profit or price move is $15.50. And then the end date, April 10th. And the reason you want April 10th, or you want the end date written down, is so it helps you understand which options you want to analyze, which expiration you want to analyze. Pretty much, folks, do this. Look at options that expire right after or on the end date. You don't want to have an expiration date that happens before the end date, because your trade will expire before the date range takes place. If this is a 30-day on average trade and you have an expiration that's a week out, you're going to cut yourself short, the 23 trading days now of this run. And you don't want to go too far out past the end date. You don't want to have a leap option per se, or even a June, July, or August, whichever one's written. Why is that? Well, because Money Calendar is only calculating out till April 10th. If you have a July option, you may be tempted to hang on to this stock farther out than April or the third week in April options. Why? Because you have more time. But what you don't have, folks, is Money Calendar showing you an average profit projection or an average price move. So you don't know how much more this stock will move past that end date. So you'd be flying blind basically there with an option that's too far out. So again, a way to avoid that temptation or that risk is just to, again, have an option expiration that's just past the end date. So we have written down ISRG, average profit 1550, end date April 10th. When we do the options analysis and we typed in that information that we did prior, we get this list, this table of options, and it starts with call options. And what you're trying to analyze, and the purpose of these videos is to show you the percent to double function in the tools. Well, you don't see any columns here with percent to double. The way you bring that up is you click on the hyperlink break even that's above the table. When you click on break even, you'll notice that the last two columns will populate bullish percent to double and bearish percent to double. Now you go down until you start seeing the April expiration you want. Right now, March 10th of 2017 is too tight, too short. This will expire before the end date or the 30 days run that's been calculated for Money Calendar. So as we scroll on down, we will eventually find some April options. And here we have the April 7th of 2017, $732.50 call. And Tom doesn't like to focus on the halvesies, so we won't do this for this video as well. The half strikes usually have lesser liquidity than those that aren't half strikes. So the 745 is one idea we'd focus on. Now here's the stock price, 734. And usually Tom likes the deeper in the money 70, 75 deltas, but we may not always get that opportunity. Those may not always show the opportunity to double. So in this case, we're going to just use, again, the bullish percent to double as our guide. And right now, this April 7th of 2017, $745 call is the one that we would click on. And you click on the trade that's underlined. It's a hyperlink to bring up the risk graph for that. And when the page refreshes, it'll look like this. Here's your risk graph on that ISRG, April 7th, $745 call. And it had the, let's see, it had the percent to double. It said 4.4%. Same as before in the Darknet video. You can do the math in your head or a calculator or on paper, or just use the tool. Work smart with a smart tool. And when you bring up the risk graph page, go all the way down to the bottom, that statistics and probabilities box now. And again, we're assessing it's going to take until expiration. If it happens sooner than that, great. We'll take our money sooner rather than later, obviously. But let's just look at the case in which it may take until expiration to finally happen. And so what is that? Up 4.4%? It translates to 766.30. Now, you can do it the way I showed you with the Darknet and go back up to the chart and say, okay, is 766.30 possible? Well, here it is in new highs. You have to think or anticipate that this stock can continue making new highs up to that 766.30 to feel confident in this trade or not. One last thing I want to show you, and the reason why we wrote this information down, the average profit is 1550. Add 1550 to the closing price of 734. And what do you get? You're going to get 749 and 53 cents. So 749 is where the average profit from Money Calendar, if it does just the average price move of 1550, your target could be that 749.53. So Money Calendar says it's possible for 749.50. Where does it have to be for the stock to double? 766.30. Well shy of that, right? So here's a situation where using the tools, you can say, hey, look, you know, the most Money Calendar says on average I can expect is 15.5 points, which takes it to 759. This thing needs to get to 766. I don't see that possibility. Money Calendar, if it just does its average run, is not going to get that target that I need. So I would move on from this one and then look to consider a different trade. Now, I'm not necessarily going to go through and help you guys find the trade. You can go back to your options tools and look at the next one in line and click on different ones and try to figure that out. If you don't like the long calls, another thing you can do on the searchers and the find trades is look at less than 45 days, keep the bullish and implied volatility low outlooks, but this time click on the call spread and then click on search. And then when this window populates, once again, you're going to want to do the first and foremost thing is click on the break-even hyperlink so that it brings in those last two columns on the far right of the table, bullish percent to double or half, or the bearish percent to double or half. And as you can see, there's a lot of spreads that it's calculating through and a lot of money that it's running through here to eventually refresh the page and bring that table up. But there again, folks, you have written down the stock symbol, the average profit move, and the end date so that you can find options expirations out just past that end date. Look at the percent to double capabilities at expiration, and if that stock has the capabilities per money calendar in the math to hit the price it needs to double, that's the one you'd hang your hat on. If it doesn't have that capability, you can move on. There you go, folks. Hope you find that helpful. Any questions or concerns, hit us up on the Traders Forum or email us at support@tomgentile.com. Thank you.